All right, it is another wonderful time on your television on the program African Discuss, and a very good afternoon to you. My name is Evan Sunokuge. You're welcome on the program. Well, the world is agog with activities and, of course, with stories and reactions and counter-reactions. Talking about the death of the former supreme leader in Iran. So that's, the way that an average Iranian refers to him. We're talking about Ayatollah. And we have seen the, reactions and counter-reactions, like I said a while ago. And the fear is that what will it portend for the world, for the globe, and also for continents of the world. As we speak now, we understand that most flights have been banned into the United Arab Emirates. And the big question is, what is really going on in the Middle East, as it were? Well, as you know, this program, African Discuss, we look at issues on the continent of Africa. Ordinarily, when we talk about the death of Ayatollah, we may not be talking about it, on the continent of Africa. But for the fact that we live in a global world, and definitely it's going to start having effect. There's no told that it's going to start having effect in this continent. So that's going to be our talking point this afternoon. We're going to be looking at the social implication, and of course, the economic implication of the death of Ayatollah. That's the former supreme leader in Iran. And you've been following the stories, how retaliatory movements have been following, what Iran has been doing to, the allies of the United States of America. As we speak now, formations, U.S. formations all over the world have also been bombarded. So those are some of the counter reactions that Iran is giving to the airstrikes, the airstrikes in Iran, and of course the death of the supreme leader in Iran. Well, to discuss all this today, we're so privileged to have two gentlemen here. First and foremost, join me to welcome a professor of vocational and technical education, Professor Victor Igbenedion. He's a foreign analyst and, of course, an affairs analyst. Sir, you're welcome to the program African Discourse.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
All right, so we are also expecting to be joined this afternoon by Enoyo Gary Omogiade Edukbolo. He's the CEO of Canada World and a foreign business expert, somebody that has traveled far and wide. And he has been to the Middle East a couple of times, and his business tentacles spread almost in parts of the world. So he's going to be giving us a first-hand information about what it is like to have a supreme leader like Ayatollah's exit from the Middle East. And if we have him now, can we welcome him on board? Let us welcome Enoyo Gary Omogiade Edukbolo. Sir, you're welcome to the program African Discourse. Okay, we're still expecting to have him on the program. All right, so as we hit the discussion this afternoon, Professor Igbenedion, now, just like what we said a while ago, that it's been a case of reactions and counter-reactions. I mean, in the first place, a lot of persons thought that Ayatollah could not have died in that airstrikes that the U.S. did in Iran. But eventually, the whole world got to know that he died eventually. So how would you react to his death? Let's start from there.
Well, Ayatollah Khamenei to the Islamic world is like a deity, so to speak. And somebody would think that nothing can affect him. But he has been taken out now by the US and Israeli strikes. And you can already see the ripple effects. Iran is counter-striking to US allies. And it is expected that this thing might escalate. That's why we are looking at the implication. Yeah. As you have said, the world is beyond the Middle East now because of the implication it's going to have economically and economic stability and social security, so to speak. So we expect that Iran has a lot of oil and is a pathway for ships that traverse the whole world. And we are going to expect that there's going to be a disruption of oil prices. It's going to escalate because there's where they call oil prices will now get to be volatile. Once there's a disruption. And the shipping and logistics challenges, there's what they call the Strait of Hormuz. It's likely that ships that are picking oil, they are going to reroute to Cape of Good Hope. And that is going to put further strain on the prices of oil in the international market. So the economic implication is very high. It's very high. As you know, no country is self-sufficient. So we depend on one another globally. And oil is a very significant commodity in the world market. Yeah. So when something like this happens, we are going to expect that it will affect oil prices and the ripple effect. Prices of other commodities are going to rise.
Okay. All right. So we've been following this story, and perhaps most of our viewers this afternoon have also been following the stories. I mean, you know, concerning how we we got here eventually. Yes. Talking about the fall of Ayatollah Khamenei, that's the former supreme leader in Iran. Now, one of the strongest points that a lot of analysts are holding that seems to be very valid now with the way the U.S. forces took over him was the fact that about some few months ago, we saw that we heard that he actually ordered the shooting of lawful protesters in Iran. I mean, those guys, they were just protesting against the bad government in Iran and all that. Now, but some of the counter reactions that we also saw, that they were not just protesting, they were acting unlawful against the civic, rules, in Iran and all that. Now, what do you make, in all of all this, against the backdrop that we are talking about an iconic figure, just like you said a while ago. I mean, we're going to come to that because a lot of persons are saying that this is the beginning of another terrorism in the world. While some persons are saying that, oh, maybe this is eventually the end of terrorism in the world. What do you make, in all of all this?
If I get you right, saying that he ordered the shooting of legitimate protesters
yes, in Iran.
In Iran. And some say it is not true.
Yeah.
That those protesters were acting unlawfully.
Yes, against the law.
Against the law.
Against the backdrop that people see him as an iconic figure, as somebody that represents, that maybe demonstrates terrorism as it were.
For him not to have restrained himself, it gives him, it gives us the impression that he's a totalitarian. So he can do whatever he wants to do. And that is what has promoted terrorism, from that axis. So whether this one will snowball into more terrorism or to terminate terrorism.
Yeah.
But the Arab people, they are very resilient people, particularly when it comes to Islamic religion, and there are other religions that they have.
And their beliefs too.
Yes, their beliefs. They don't easily give up at all. They want to take revenge. And they have soft targets, that they can revenge on.
So what are you trying to say?
That it is likely that we are going to witness a new era of more terrorism. Yes, a new era of more terrorism. But as they will say, you can't beat a child and ask the child not to cry. There's what they call misplaced aggression. So it's going to take it out. They are going to take it out. They are going to have a coalition, the Arab people. Much as the Western states, they want to cannibalize them, make sure that they don't cooperate. But they have that cooperation amongst them, that they cannot sit by and see their empire decimated, so to speak. So he's a leader that commands great followership. And so when you take him out in that kind of manner, you should expect very serious reaction. And some will be covert, some will be overt. The overt ones that we are seeing are that they say reprisal. They are fighting back, so to speak. But it's going to dovetail to economic and security problems.
The indirect implications.
Yes, those are the things
for
that
parts of the world.
Yes, we are going to witness.
Okay. All right, so let's quickly take a short break. Don't forget the program is still African Discourse on independent television. And we are talking about the fall of Ayatollah. That's the supreme leader in Iran, who the U.S. had to, take out a few days ago. What is the implication for the African continent is what we're looking at this afternoon. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned. All right, thank you one more time. The program still on your television, Independent TV, and the program African Discourse. We are focusing on the fall, not the rise this time now, of Ayatollah. That's the supreme leader in Iran. And it is still very much trendy. If you go to social media, you will see how, people are reacting, and of course how people are supporting, and or people are also being judgmental about the killing of Ayatollah, as it were. And our focus on the program this afternoon is to look at the implication that this is going to have on the continent of Africa. And we have begun by saying that no doubt it's going to have a covert implication, that's a direct implication, an indirect implication, or also a direct implication. And our guest this afternoon is Professor Victor Igbenedion. We are still expecting Yugeri Omogiade Edokpolo, who will join us when we get him into the program. Prof, you're welcome one more time.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now, at a point in time, you said that Ayatollah, no doubt, is iconic, even when he was alive. Now, this is not the first time that we are perhaps having an iconic figure within the Islamic world, being taken out. Now, we can still readily remember Saddam Hussein,
yes.
Of Iraq, that almost took Kuwait and all that. It was this same United States of America that eventually took him out.
Yes.
Now, a lot of persons have the opinion that perhaps most of the Islamic terrorism sects that we have in the world today, you have the ISIS, even here in Nigeria, the Boko Haram and all that, that all these movements actually started after the death of Saddam Hussein. Now, he was also an iconic figure. So now we're talking about the death of another iconic figure. So does it mean are we going to have more terrorists set within the Islamic world? Is that what we're looking at?
Well, you try to situate the origin of terrorism with the death of Saddam Hussein.
Some of the sects,
yes,
the ISIS, the Boko Haram and all that.
And we are wondering whether the death of Ayatollah Khamenei will have a multiplier effect,
yes,
so to speak. I cannot say with all certainty that his death will extinct terrorism. Rather, it's going to have a multiplier effect.
So we're going to have more sects?
Certainly. Because there's going to be new realignments all over. The population of Islamic adherents, they are very much, even in the US, they are very much, their population around the globe, very high. Okay. And they are indoctrinated, and they have these leaders that they deify, as I said earlier on. They kind of worship them. So when you kill them, they get so angry that they do damage all over the place. So tendency is for them to go all out and reinforce their terrorist people that can do damage all over the world. Even right now, the US has to be more careful because they can have an implosion in their home. We know that of
September 11th.
Yes,
9/11.
we know Israel already. They are getting a backlash. It's just that they are trying. They are again a very resilient small country like that, who are technologically strong with their defense. Otherwise, I foresee that terrorism is going to increase, so to speak. And even and as I said earlier, their soft targets will be in Africa. If they cannot fight over there, they will come here
now,
and do a lot of damage.
We know that before the eventual killing of Ayatollah Khamenei, It appeared that the fight was actually between Israel and Iran.
Yes.
But all of a sudden, we don't talk about Israel now. I mean, since on the 28th of February that Ayatollah was killed, nobody talks about Israel anymore. It is now the United States of America and, of course, Iran. But again, I think we also, because this action of the U.S. is not something that happened all of a sudden. I mean, we've seen a situation whereby oftentimes how Iran has been accused of having lethal weapons, nuclear weapons, weapons of mass destructions and all that. And of course, how Iran has denied until eventually the U.S. government had to situate the whole thing around human rights issues, how those protesters were killed, shot at and all that. And eventually it got up to where we are now. Now, the question we're asking is, I wanted to speak along the line. I mean, nobody's talking about Israel anymore. It is now between, it seems now to be a fight between the U.S. and, of course, Iran.
How can you talk about what is happening with U.S. and Iran, and you are not talking about Israel? It's impossible.
But it's U.S. that is doing the destruction now. So
yes, but it's arising from Israeli and Iran. So that's what precipitated the whole thing. Why is Iran not fighting U.S. directly now? But all their missiles have been targeted towards
their allies.
Yes, at Israel, so to speak. So we have to look at it very carefully. We just be praying that a world war will not precipitate as a result of what has triggered off now by this U.S. and Iranian, and the death of their iconic leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. A little thing like this can spark a world war.
A world war.
So, and no country should be underrated. It's not like we are in Africa. You can easily circle the country because of our primitiveness. But countries like Iran, they have resources, and they have allies, very powerful allies too, in the Middle East that can support them. It's just that this U.S., they have this overwhelming power, that can suppress people. But as I said, their belief, it doesn't make them afraid of anything. Since for them, life is cheap, they can die, and it doesn't mean anything. So it's important that the U.S., the Israeli, they must be very, very careful.
Well, let us be careful with the way we say that. To say that life is cheap, they can die, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, you are not a Muslim, so you probably
No. Somebody the other day was quoting verses from the Hadith.
Maybe you are quoting that person out of context. Nobody will tell you that life is cheap. I mean, he can die anyhow.
Well, they say no. They can kill. They can kill non-believers.
Let us be careful so that we don't make submissions a little bit subjective. So that's what we're saying. Anyway, let us come off that now. Now, we started by looking at what is going to be the implication for the African continent.
Yes.
And a while ago, you were trying to talk about how the crude oil markets, particularly in the Middle East, as we speak now, we understand that oil exploration is at standstill. As a matter of fact, some few days ago, we heard that a lot of flights were cancelled in Dubai, which seems to be the hub, the commerce hub of the world. So that is going to have an effect, into the world. I mean, into Africa and all that. Now the question is, do you see the African continent? Because it's unfortunate that we're here. I mean, we depend on the outer world. Africa as a continent depends so much on the outer world to survive. Nobody knows when this whole thing, how long it's going to last. So the question I'm asking is, do you see the continent being able to survive? I mean, the reaction of the death of Ayatollah Khamenei.
Well, I'm not a prophet of doom, but I see, as the Benima will say, before clothes were made, we were not wrapping with plantain leaves. So we will survive. The African continent will survive one way or the other. As long as, when situations come like this, you have to be abstemious. You look within your environment and survive.
But there are no indices to show that we will survive. As we speak now, Prof, any moment from now, the prices of oil, the price of petrol is going to go up again.
Yes.
I mean, it just increased a few weeks ago from 700 and something to about almost 900 naira.
Yes.
Now, this Ayatollah's death is only about 2-3 days ago. So it's going to have ripples effect down. I mean, to Africa and, of course, to Nigeria. So, but from the look of things, from all the indices, I mean, the federal government of Nigeria has not even come out to tell Nigerians that, hey, don't panic, no worry. These are the modalities we are putting on ground. Even if they are trying to tell us that Dangote refines crude and all that. But you and I know that most of the petroleum fuel that we still use still come from outside the continent, outside Nigeria. So do you see African countries being able to withstand this death of Kamali?
I believe that we can, but the price will be very high. Even as you speak about Dangote, apart from the crude that he gets locally, and additional one that he may import, what about the machinery, all the spare parts and everything? They depend on the outside world, the Western world, to supply all this machinery. And once there's disruption, there's problem. And that is having a very serious implication. So the prices will be very high in a short while. If this war is not mitigated by talking, by coming to the table to resolve the issue. And the U.S. itself is very stubborn. It doesn't listen to any person. And Russia has been very cautious too. When you look at Russia and the Iranian war, you see that it was difficult for Trump to mediate in the war, and the war is still going on. So Russia will not come and say, "Oh, you people stop this fight." They will look for their advantage inside it. Inside it. What do we gain from this? Their war. After all, what they are, there must be a secret agenda why they are fighting. The U.S. is fighting Iran. It's for economic purpose. They want to dominate and harness Iran, just like they were saying with Saddam Hussein. After he died now, what happened next?
Okay. All right, so we will take a short pause on that point. What is really the gain? What does the U.S. stand to gain in all this fight? That's going to be starting point when we return from the other side of this program. We'll quickly take a short break now. Don't forget the program is still African Discourse on independent television. We'll be right back.
We have a word.
All right, thank you so much for still being there. The program is still on your television, African Discourse on independent TV. And our focus this afternoon is the fall of Ayatollah Khamenei. That's the supreme leader in Iran. Now, you saw the headlines, whereby some of the U.S. allies seems to be on a neutral position, so to say. They seems not to be joining U.S. in the fight. Well, our guest this afternoon is Professor Victor Igbenedion on the program today. Now, Prof, before we come to what U.S. stands to gain in this fight against Iran, now let us look at U.S. allies, the way they seem to be backing out. I mean, just on the news headline a while ago, you saw the Prime Minister in UK, Keir Starmer, saying that UK is not at war with Iran. But that is difficult to understand because some of the planes, some of the fighter jets that US use are said to have come from the UK. So how can you say that UK is not at war with Iran, whereas some of your fighter jets were involved in the airstrikes so far that we've seen in Iran? So what do you make of that?
That's some technical language.
But that's the fact. I mean, you saw that yourself.
Yes,
the UK Prime Minister saying that UK is not at war with Iran.
He cannot overtly say that he's at war with Iran, but is covertly supporting the US. As you said, they have their bombers and everything.
Most of the fighter jets,
yes,
they are from the UK.
Yes, you know the US, they have bases all over the place.
Yeah.
So they take off from there and go and do damage. That's why I was saying, if somebody comes out, any country that comes out to say is aligning with the US publicly, it becomes a soft target for Iran.
You mean right now?
Yes. They will begin to send missiles. And those people, they are not prepared for war. So, just to show the US that they are no cowards, so they will fight. If Britain comes out now to say, oh, this war is very good, they are in support of US to fight them, you will see what will happen.
Now, it is not only the Britain, it's not only the UK that seems to be taking a neutral position. Even we saw a press conference that Emmanuel Macron of France gave a few days ago. His statements to be in support of, he's been cautious. He doesn't want to be on any of the side. He's been neutral.
Yes, because they know, you see, Trump is somebody that sometimes he looks irrational. I want to be careful with my language.
His decisions, yeah.
So, he cannot just plunge the whole world into a world war, confusion. Yeah. So there are people who are more rational than himself. Because his war chest is very, very heavy. It's wide. And the other smart people, they know how to tag along and be very, very cautious. Because if they come out to support and say they are in alignment with Trump, you will not know who is even behind Iran anymore. Everything will escalate. Those people we think that are supporting the West or NATO or anything, they will turn around and begin to fight. No, there's a time they will even say, this US one is even too much safe. Let us see.
But, Prof, what we also need to look at is that there are some, analysts that are of the opinion that perhaps Iran is a country that is divided against itself, on this fight. I mean, what do you make of, immediately the news was, got broken. I mean, immediately they announced the death of Ayatollah in Iran. We saw a lot of Iranians, trooping to the streets celebrating the deaths of, the supreme leader. So it seems that Iran is divided against itself. So if that is the truth, how long and how much do you think they are going to, stay on this fight against the U.S.?
They may look divided, but because they are being ruled with iron fist. The Ayatollah, their leader, was ruling them with iron fist. And, a country like that, once they have opportunity to ventilate, especially those ones who are oppressed, they will do so. That's what we are seeing. But when it now comes to, they want to lose their freedom as a country, you will see them, they will realign and fight. They fought before Saddam Hussein was taken out. They never rebelled anymore because a war has been called. So they started fighting. So Iran will do the same thing. They will fight, except there's a mediation. Countries around the world, the other superpowers must come and intervene so that the war will not escalate beyond this level.
Now, talking about mediation for countries around the world, immediately after the death of Ayatollah Khamenei was announced, we saw a quasi meeting by the Security Council of the United Nations in New York, whereby Donald Trump was not in that meeting, but the body language of Donald Trump seems not to be in line with the Security Council. As in, you people can go ahead with whatever you are discussing. I'm out today, do what I want to do. Now, would you want to say that this is a personal vendetta between Donald Trump and Ayatollah?
I won't call it a personal vendetta, because Donald Trump is an unstable element. He fights dirty because he believes that he has a war chest that can muzzle anybody. Which other country can raise up his head now with Donald Trump? Without being invited, he will go there and do what he wants to do. So the question of the UN talking, he doesn't listen to them. You know, he has done a lot of...
But that is not good, because because even as we speak now, we understand that in the US right now, there are some analysts already accusing Donald Trump that, hey, this is a war crime. I mean, for US to go to war, we understand that the Congress,
yes,
the Senate in the U.S.
yes,
ought to approve such. I mean, we're talking about airstrikes here.
Yes.
I mean, for those airstrikes to have been done, there was no input by the U.S. Senate, neither was there input by the U.S. Congress. So that's why I'm asking the question. Don't you think that Donald Trump is taking a personal vendetta, you know, against Ayatollah? I don't know where they met or whatever the fight was between them.
And as a fallout of this, they are trying to amend
that part of the Constitution?
Yes.
To suit who now?
To suit the U.S. people, that a president cannot just unilaterally
take such a decision.
They want to do something about it. So it's not Ayatollah. There was a language I used here the other day. You said, oh, it was too harsh for Trump. I don't want to use it again. But Trump is a terrible person. No, we have to be careful. These are the people. It's like who triggered that Second World War? The German.
Hitler.
Yes.
Adolf Hitler.
Yeah. Once you don't listen to people, these are not the people who should be in the corridors of power, because they are like maniacs, so to speak. They go ahead and do whatever they like. Anybody who does whatever he likes is a very dangerous person. He's a maniac.
Maybe this is how the Republicans behave. I mean, remember George Bush Jr. The same thing.
Yes,
it was in George Bush's era that we had the fights, the Kuwait,
yes,
and all that. So is that how the Republicans behave?
Well, it depends on the individual. It may not be it may not be the Republicans. It depends on the individual. There are some bloodthirsty individuals. They just do anything they like. We have them all over the place.
Anyway, let's come back home a little bit. Now, Ahmed Gumi, that's the Islamic scholar in Nigeria, has reacted. A few hours ago, he made his publication known, and he actually, agreed. He confirmed the death of Ayatollah Khamenei. That's the former supreme leader in Iran. So there's no lies about it anymore, that Ayatollah was actually killed in that airstrike. Now, his language is that Muslims should remain calm. But some persons, trying to analyze it in certain ways, that when you say remain calm, it probably presupposes a deep water that runs, a still water that runs deep. How would you react to that? Because we are trying to look at what may be the implication for outer worlds.
Yes.
I mean, for Africa, for Nigeria. Ahmed Gumi is a Nigerian. So if he says that Muslims should remain calm, does that not presuppose a dangerous disposition, so to say?
Undercurrent. There's an undercurrent. I still take you back. This Islamic world, they are not people to play with. They are more determined. If they want to do damage, they will do. You can see them now. They are the one that have flanked this West African sub-region in terrorism. So it may not come out openly, but there's an undercurrent in what he has said. I mean, that's why we must be very careful.
Now, talking about the fight against terrorism, it's been an age-long thing now in Africa, and if not in West Africa, most especially in the Sahel region. For the past 20, 25 years, terrorism has been an issue, and the fear now is that this is probably going to be another offshoot of another set. So, what are we going to be thinking of doing now? Because apart from our normal economic, which is also tied to terrorism anyway, you know, one of the greatest problems that we have in Africa, in West Africa today, is the issue of terrorism. So how do we begin, I mean, where do we go from here, Prof?
It's by, we have to try to look for peace by all means. And that is going to be difficult because all the countries are aligned with all these superpowers. Like we are talking about Sahel. You see, whereas Burkina Faso, Mali, and the other one, they have left ECOWAS.
Yeah.
And they are surviving. When we put threats to them initially, they just laughed.
They took their stand.
They took their stand, and nothing will change. Nothing has changed. Rather, they will show us a scorecard that they are making progress once they left the ECOWAS Union. So it's important that we have to be careful. That's the sustainability we were talking about. You see, you were talking a while ago whether we can stay if this trend continues and if the bubble bursts, so to speak. You see, Burkina Faso, Mali, and the other country, we never thought they could survive for one year.
So should we go the Burkina Faso way? Are you trying to encourage military junta?
No. What I say is that we will survive one way or the other, no matter. In worse situation, people still survive.
Yeah, but we will survive in one way or the other. Perhaps you are not looking at the terrorism aspect of the fight we are fighting. Now, remember, like what we said, that our fight in West Africa is not just economic fight. We're not fighting to revive our economy. The greatest fight in West Africa today is the fight against terrorism. I mean, that's the greatest fight, you know. So with this now, it seems that there is no hope in sight.
Who was expecting that there will be immediate hope? When behind it all is economic reason. Why was Sambisa forest cordoned away? Why the war was going on outside? They were mining minerals from there. Solid minerals were being mined. But we just saw a war that, the place was cordoned off, is their stronghold and all that. It's only now we are beginning to see. Same thing with Zamfara. Even when we say, Zamfara is not under siege, but mining of solid mineral, gold, aeroplanes will be dropping and flying away with what they have taken. So behind it all is economic, very, very much economic, because there are powers that are in there who are taking advantage of the lapses that we have.
Okay. And
they are the one funding this terrorism that has become intractable. We cannot even see how to go about it. It's only recently now that Trump says he's going to help, and they are bringing more jets and all that. It's just like Robert Peter to pay Paul. If he's driving France away, he's going to take over.
And there's always an interest.
Exactly.
And that will make me to ask the last question on this program today. Now, a while ago, you said that there is an interest. I mean, for Trump to have ousted Ayatollah,
Yes.
in Iran. So what do you think is the interest that U.S. has in Iran?
Iran has oil.
Yeah.
A lot of it. And it's very vital in the Middle East. So it's both economic and He has economic reason and political reason.
Let's start from the political reason. What's the political reason?
You know, Iran is a dominant factor in that area. So, and they are not yielding. They don't pander to the whims and caprices of the US. And the US wants to be in charge. So politically he wants to destroy him so that they can have influence. They can have plenty of influence. And if they are able to secure Iran, they will spread their tentacles.
But don't you also think that perhaps US is just trying to live up to being the police of the world? I mean, a while ago we said how this whole thing can probably be looked from the angle of humanitarian issue. I mean, the way Ayatollah was alleged to have ordered the shooting of peaceful protesters in the US. And personally, that's what Donald Trump said he reacted to. Donald Trump, you know, I watched one of the videos whereby he said that he could not have, he said he couldn't stand that. I mean, seeing innocent souls, innocent Iranians being killed by the order of the supreme leader. So don't you think that US being trying to be the police of the world, the police activities of leaders that they don't perceive are good enough for the people? So that's probably why they are reacting.
That's a smooth screen. That's a smooth screen.
Really?
It's more political, yes. There are other human rights abuses all over the place. We were here on one program when somebody was listing human rights. Okay, US sent people out to the countries that were not their own.
Yes, yes.
These were human rights abuses and all that one.
Yeah.
Even the blacks till tomorrow, they are being abused. So, I see it as more political to have a dominance over Iran, because Iran is an influential factor, and they are kind of independent. Nobody is going to Saudi Arabia now and everything. Those people they are friends to the US. They allow them free hand to do anything they like. But Iran is not like that. They are still maintaining their religious hegemony without little or no interference. So that's the problem.
All right, Professor, I want to say a very big thank you today on the program, African Discourse. Indeed, you spoke like a professor.
Thank you very much.
I want to say thank you so much on the program today, African Discourse. And perhaps we will say on this program that the last is not heard yet of the fall of Ayatollah Khamenei, a supreme leader. No doubt that he was the supreme leader in Iran for about 3 decades now, for about 32, 33 years. That's about 3 decades. And U.S. knew no peace until eventually his fall. So eventually Ayatollah has been killed by the strikes that we saw a few days ago in Iran. And that was occasioned by the United States of America. Now we have seen that, and also we also talked about the implication that may have around the world. You know, it's like it's going to be a ripples effect. You drop a stone, you drop a pebble into water, then you have the ripples effect and all that. I mean, as we speak, we understand that foreign exchange seems to have changed, and we also understand that the price of crude is going to go high. So when that happens, before you know it, the price of PMS in African nations begins to increase. So those are some of the implications that we are looking at. Then also on the issue of security, the fear is that we pray that this death of Ayatollah does not you know, be the beginning. It will not be the beginning of some other Islamic sect, as we saw when Saddam Hussein died. You know, when US killed Saddam Hussein many years ago. So we just pray that the world will remain intact, so that all the Islamic terrorist sects that we have, that we'll be able to contain them. All right, so Prof, thank you so much one more time.
I appreciate you.
All right, now, so we'll end the program here today, and by the special grace of God, next week Monday, we will come with another topic and also another guest. My name is Evan Sunokuge. Good afternoon.
The Esama of Benin Kingdom thanked the new Edion for visiting him and advised them to always abide by the rules and regulations of their new positions. The Esama urged them to indulge in what will continue to bring development and progress to the community.
When I say it's your job, I went to us and I know what I will. Papa. Caliban was in a cocoa, no wisdom. Who paid you? Who paid you? Baba. Echo one as ever. If I had lost the letter, then we asked about my former. I will wear in it. A joke. Hey, Jonah will. Hey, Jonah, pull up. Hey, Jonah, Nuria, why you go back? But John Way, Gathered in and I had the way. Why we were there when I'm no matter of
ITV, certainly the best.
ero ne iku egime iwe o. Sana o me bora boya o. Aya sige wa to mo gele. Aya sige wa to mo gele. Wa to mo gele o gele. Wa to mo gele amo. Aya sige wa to mo gele. Ay matae kasatae. Ay matae kasatae. Ay matae we kasatae. E kasayo wa ti ga fatwa seme. Oh, ati manza to ne wo ma. Pagi manza to ne wo me. Oh, arunyu. Arunyu. Body carry ku yo gbo. Ewa edo tore do edo ni carry ku yo gbo. Ogi abani ka.
In the evening of the initiation day, all the newly initiated Edion danced to the residents of the Odion Way and also visited some homes of the various senior elders, where Chief Elder Ogbedo Onwonse was very conspicuous, especially at the country home of Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osaro Igbenedion with his family on the night of the initiation. On the following morning, as part of the rite to be performed by the newly initiated Edion in Okada town, the initiates, led by Chief Elder Ogbedo Onwonse, visited the Esama of Benin, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osaro Igbenedion, at his Okada country home residence to pay homage and appreciate him for all he has done in the development of the community, which has placed Okada in world map. They also thanked him for his role in the success of their ceremony. They commended the Esama of Benin as a custodian of Benin cultural heritage and for revitalizing the age-long tradition of the age-grade ceremony.
Wọ́n yóò jọ lẹ́yìn. Kẹ́hìn náà ló jáde ẹjọ́ ìwé ẹ̀nẹ́ẹ̀dì àkókò ní ẹ̀nẹ́ẹ̀dì àkókò yẹn. Lórí ti ẹ̀wọ́ yé wọ ẹni náà ẹ̀yàgbẹ́wò ẹ̀yìn ká máa wọ̀ pé iṣẹ́ ìjọba náà ọba tó wà pẹ̀wọ̀ iṣẹ́.
ITV, certainly the best.
Waya bota now. Ugi bota we say niwa. Ere na ya fere bahabe uza no gbera. Magwa ka ehun. Mana te ehun wa dole wo na yi. Sorobo no gla owo. Ma ya fere na nirun. Na ma la o da o. Owo wa ri ma. Owe ewo idun ni ma ye. Ewo ni ma na nirun. Eni ma nirun ge no sorobo la no ge ase ni ma ya fere. Ọba atọpẹ ṣe ẹniwọn ẹdẹ náà ẹna màláwì máa gùn aka ìhẹn wọ ìhẹn bí ìhẹn akínẹwó wọ kínẹ òwá ni màá yé ìhẹn sábà náà gìhẹn mú màríà irun ni màá nànà yẹn náà ọgbọn ẹgbọn ẹyẹ bẹyẹn náà dẹnẹ náà ọdẹ wọn wọ tẹmẹ Victor Ebizugbe.
ẹdẹ náà wò wà ẹdẹ náà wò sẹmu àyà bí tó tà àti kẹpẹ tí wọn wà ní wọn gbẹ ọkọtọ ní wọn dànù ẹ ẹrin màá gbọn ahúndàná tẹrẹ máa.
Wẹ́rẹ́ àwọn ẹ̀rọ ló yá àárò èmi ló yá lòdẹ́ ọba àtọ́pẹ́ yìí.
Iṣẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́dẹ̀ máa tẹ̀ ẹ́ pásítọ̀ ọ̀hún lámúrè.
Ìwé ẹ̀dùnọ́gùn mi wà bí ẹnìyẹn ká yìí òfin ìbùsọ̀ ọba gọ̀ ẹ̀yà rọ̀ wà bí dàn yọ̀ ọ̀sà ọba ẹ̀gì màmí òkú yẹn rè gbé o ọba àtọ́pẹ́ yìí.
Iṣẹ́ ìyẹn mẹ ọ̀sà ọba sẹ́yìn jẹ́ inú yẹ o lórí ẹ̀dọ̀bá yọ̀ ọ̀ká ọ̀rẹ́dọ̀ yà fẹ́ ẹ̀ náà bẹ̀ ọ̀ká ẹ̀gbọ́n ilẹ̀ yà fẹ́ mẹ̀rẹ́gì òtún wà yà sábàánù la ọ̀nà mọ́kù yẹn rìnrìn ẹ̀dọ́ yàfẹ́ ọba àtọ́pẹ́ ẹ̀tọ́ ẹ̀nìyàn ìhẹ́ ìrìnàkí ìmáyẹn wọ́n ní ebòtẹ̀ kọ́s ẹ̀ máa ẹ̀ nà tiẹ̀ n'obi ọ̀ma ẹ̀ nà tiẹ̀ n'ẹ̀wọ̀ ẹ̀ nà gúvẹ́ ẹ̀ nà tamọ̀ yà tiẹ̀ yọ bẹ̀lùwẹ̀ náà ẹ̀ wọ̀ wẹ̀mí ni wọ́n náà wà yà tiẹ̀ yọ ìhẹ́ ni ọ̀rìà ni. Ihe dọ̀lì mi yìí yìí ṣùgbọ́n àwọn ewé kìnìyàn náà dọ̀lì mi yìí nùdá wọ̀ ẹ̀mú yẹn yìí mi nù wọ́n yẹ yòbọ̀ kàn án òhun àjọ wọn ríra ẹ òhun àjọ wọn amú ẹ ọdọ lẹ́yìn wọn yìí rí
kàkàbọ
kìnìyàn náà dọ̀lì mi yìí nìyí wọ̀ ẹ̀yà rí ẹ ènìyàn ní àìmọ́ náà rí wọn ẹ ìyẹn ni ọgbọ̀n wa ni ẹ níwọ̀n ọtẹ̀wọ̀n Victor Ebizugbe ìyẹn wọ̀ yẹ ẹ ìnà manora ìnà tiẹ̀ yẹ wọ̀ nọ̀ra.
Ìhẹ́ ìnà tiẹ̀ yẹ wò gbẹ́ ẹ̀wọ̀n àdẹ̀nẹ̀ bán lọ́wọ́ ìhẹ́ agbada nà ọmọ nífà nà
ora igbe bona o igbe bona pa to pa ihe e no mo ye gbevio ihe keke be bo opa yan ti aju fi kian ebi ga sonoma uti hen yo waru da egu ti hen ye mi no ya pris no me ya ye mewe emi ni o bo mo abehe ero emi no ogwe ukaka bo yo bodaye ihe o wa nwe na no bu ma mewe ewo no ma he emi na ye no de omo na dagme do won no roto temi na ati hen yo ogwa mana he ona ye no uligi aro to tonu na ati hen yo ewo na ayeke ihe awe muladian we e won no we na wo na ga hie na ga hiusi na ga temu ni giro to ason ya ro afan ya ro do wo bi amase ti awe amu yo ma be obo ati hen yo e ba ni hen na so agbo ma dole mi iyi so kwa ọ̀wọ́n náà wẹ́ náà gíyẹn agìvíọ́ èmi ni wẹ́rù ní àbẹ́bí ìkùnúrú wẹ̀rẹ̀rẹ̀ owó rẹ̀ náà òsì ẹgbúrú wa àyàmú ihe rẹ̀ òkèkè òhọ́ ẹ̀ma ihe ní àárẹ̀ ọlọ́gọ́ ọwọ́ àárọ̀ orí òyì ní ayé tẹ̀mtẹ̀m ní àwúlò pọ̀pọ̀ hù ní ihe náà tiẹ̀ ní ehin àwẹ̀ ọlọ́run yàrá náà kò kíyàn ní ọ̀gbìn yàn ní.
Iṣẹ́ ma yíbù wẹ́dì, ó tẹ́wẹ́ pásọ̀, ihe mẹ́ẹ̀wẹ́ zẹ́bẹ̀ ohun sàlóbọ̀á. Èmi ló mú mẹ́wẹ́ ya gbọ́n ní ihe nọ nàtẹ̀ Bible. Ihe náà sọ ẹ̀rọ gbèsòní ààrẹ court, àìbí ogun dàdí àbẹ̀ ọwẹ́ ìbábọ̀ ọ̀hún ẹ̀fẹ́ bá pé àgbẹ̀ ọ̀gbẹ̀sọ. Múdá edigun ọpa wuwe e Bible yen o Bible no ote ko
domono wa talk be edono pe wo won tare magwa kana no da e mana o yen ke we oriaki na mie iriaki na mie bi yeke o ho na tie repercussion noye oloroma no le lo koria no da wa nyise afia gbele leria wa wo iyen le leria e ba no salo bana ka bu we bi no wa we iyen ye yoto aro ke bu we zokpa eri afia gbe be roto afia gbe ke bi yen we zokpa wa we mi yen umiye wa we mi erun ebi afia gbe o be mi afia gbe vere ri mata ba be bi no wan o salo bo ayagbona je onwe iye ilele ya fe no na te 10 commandment no ile ori gbe ni no ro iye ora okike thou shall not kill ura ki ne oni uriye abiye okike Emma, we not to make a ban on highway. Any not call arrow, I swimming one, a coroe, a mayo bomber call arrow. Wakini it a bomber or denodo sorry. A bomber one little or bonny, or even a when you type not Tolomagbe.
Not Irekbe.
Irekbe. Wafie ugbo una finri eso o mana kan ya tun mu won irepe oreba o be bon nyawe o bo na be tolo we be dun bo yen mi sunu da we o sika mu ene eri mi iyeki o eze po ye ne gbe fi we ken we bo we tolo ano we ya tolo nu ya ewu egbe ya ne inwina rene egbe ya tolo wa ne o wa ni iye ma eveil e ameve la ko wa yen ga so agripa so be na igepe ya ba e ya gon saman ya egbe ne eri mi yeki we ga we ne ni o se ti ga ri ni o e mo okeke e ma nu da iye to so ma koto iye oyo ma mita iye ogbo ma di ne yin iye osio logo ma yo ma egbe Dopa emi okpa no gire egbin yen e ma ni bun ro emi we lagbera ni o ba ge ni yen no unda o sa pa je mi fe newe ewe uga we urai uri yen e wona uga we uri yen be no be aje we be no wa ege ne ke na gbotion ege ebe yen na bon me gbo a ona wo mo pa ma de yen unda era ro wa yero wa yen gi kia o sa lo wo dua no dege ni bro pa ma ri egbe la na ona tie ege eke ogi gba odu wona we ha ona we no sa oba tie we ona we woni akinu wo we mi ya ona wo tun wo no pe na tie ebe ogun yo maka gba o ebe yo maka be ri e oboje o e dado okin oge eyan ne ogbogbo yin ebe eyan no ge oso won na we ya boy ka be lodo pa ona we wa we ogun ma me ni e we ona wo ma iye we ni e ka ma na we iye enu baba iye de nu aduza ona we esagion tun enu to mi ovie buye ga de ne ona we gin ta ma wona we ebe bo akiyan ona we nda ebe akporu edi wa ona we yen ro we dagbon ne no ri mi o kan afiru gbegbo e kan awa uwe la ma wa ma be la wo wa u sa me no ma won ma be nwa me no ko bo were ona ti ona de ne aba we gbe mi ade ke to afie de ne na unda ori yen ne o sa no go do atin ne wa gbon ma u ya ri azigo u gbe emu fua u gbe emu fi eze o we ga o ga ma mi no dere we iye ni de o ga logo ma ni emi ese ezo oba atope
ise anyway wada matana wani gbama wada matana wano gbera gbiye wada matana u vara ko o yue akara ni yue abio u gbo wani awe no gbo wa we wa u ya ari azen igo u make na fe u make na bowa u make na hin moto ihe ni ọwa na onye mi nuwe ya rie o be tie we ihe ma won ebedo awe bo ya ro awe bo ni na ya meti ya bege na yo amu wa we aya tie bo na yo we no fi aye okwa he isago eya bo ya fe ni redo ima awe bo ni no mi ke na no yo amu wa no so kwa no wo ko we nu mana ze ga ya we bo una tie keka tie ni oso wa ni gbe iye ni oso wa ni oso gbe iye omo wiria iye owa egene de ben mawe una gbuhun ogede mu yoto o ze ka yebe umunya ekeni ni weze yo ni iye no owa we na se wona mo wede ni iye ni gbe okike po ke wu so pa na ye na ihe ile loweke oweke aru ihe no o even weta una tie no wa na wo ko dawe ihe ni o lele sekino riase ihe ni wa ima ho na mi ngbeso we e ma ni gba ori ma ni age tie ni ma wa mi na ye na ni ya zere we ne oba ma ye ni awe ejo we awe awo kayele tai yin afi he so pa kare le so iyan ti e kwaro awo wori eni efe yon eni efe bu veni enu aru odo fie wori e ye la to ma gwebo tele yi awe no bion we wo pa ikin to ori ge fi epo benu we be kin ma se awe no ma ko se de ye gwa o ma da ro ba o ma da ro wo we o la to ma be wa vi osisi ai agun akon ai mi ai ko kuli akwa webo so po we wo ni o we bo ya ye ekere ni ga vi ese ebobo wede ebode na aduwa edolo pe o mu da we emi ni hekin o yin mata na we ma no ma ri he o te me bisugbe ihe
ma me na wa gun na ihe na wa ha na asubo ye gbe ihe oyere no ka mo ma gbe ye fi igbera wu nebute SSS o da we yi nu we hu da e ma so wa re wo o wi atuba gbebo mu eyele we ni ra ri to yan atubero wa mu ogbe ori wa o ga kian so pon be ni amana ra we yan amana du o yi hu da we eti gu we aramewe iya mawe ropo na gbin aberio we na baya ogi asin de mi he asin kaka ni gbin yin ya ti hen mara gele we na ni mari o ya yi na o ya ti hen yo mami ihe ona do mu eyo we negi o ma we eri gbera ekenu pe ise o to na we 50 by 100 we wo pa wa ọmọ abẹ́ èrò wà uya mú 100 by 100 or 150 uya mú n'onye n'ugwe fi ụbọ yi ni ẹ̀ẹ́fẹ́ tí igwe si nye hụ digo egwe ebi n'ọhịa ya ka eke ọrịa ọrịa ihe ọtị ihe n'ọrịa ọnị n'ọhịa weho n'ọgwalọ ma n'ọrụ abẹ́ mi kwu n'ihịa si eyo wa wegharị tie ọgwalọ mi ami ewo wana gbege awe no de o eze po ye kokoko yidukuluku gbodo akun egbemu okun egbemu nu we ihe ni oroyo egbene o ga fe pe yen do kin o kin adu we ya ere o ma na te o ze pe awe ye ti ladan wo wa hu da beri ku no ru ihe oyo egbene o ma ko ma no we mi no ma aire okeka we we no aye awe me ne ga ya bo won adogun na yimia ara yimia abese ti be kihe gburi egbe ba edo yimia yo ne bowe no le be no wa we u ya confess we make a confessional statement ya mi eko masalobua osalobua yabo we eri o be ye o ma no we ni ihe na oyo wa ni la egbe ne ona do mi ekwe ona kiye gburi egbe bo awe se o we fo egbere hundoni ọ̀rẹ́kẹ́ ni màá yóò bọ́wọ́ wẹ̀ yà lẹ̀ nìyẹn mákẹ́kẹ́ ni màá dẹ̀ yẹ̀gbẹ́ gbẹ́ húdà ẹ̀rìn àyẹ̀gbẹ́ viọ́ ìgbàna ẹ̀ẹ́lẹ́gbẹ́ wí ọmọ ẹ̀kọ́ wọn lọ́gà ẹ̀wẹ̀ sàríẹ́tì nìyẹn ọmọ awúrú yà rí àwò ọwúrú yà dọ̀lẹ́wò yìí ẹ̀tìnáyé nùwẹ́ nìwẹ́ náà yà dọ̀lẹ́wò yìí ìhẹ́ wà ẹ̀sìkẹ́ ẹ̀dùgbòrúwẹ̀ yé ara ọwọ́ ọmọnáwà bẹ́ẹ̀ kú una fi àìtó una àrí ẹ̀yàwó ẹ̀bọ̀ ẹ̀wọ̀ ẹ̀rí rọ̀pá so pa ọ̀wọ́n yìí náà fi gbogbo èyí dòdè ra ọ̀nà sàmóògò bá mẹ́sẹ̀ àwẹ̀ hó kẹ̀kẹ́ wẹ̀ yí wọn pẹ̀wẹ̀ ìgúnmọ̀ gbé kẹ̀kẹ́ ìhẹ́ kí wọn náà lè gbẹ́ ọba àtọ́pẹ́.
ìhẹ́ màgbákà ni wọn wẹ̀ lọ́dà yìí máa nà wẹ̀ fíọ́bọ̀ yóò gbìdọ̀ òhì ẹ̀yìn èso ní ọwọ́ ẹ̀ òhì ẹ̀gẹ̀ ọwọ́ òwẹ̀ mú làwọ̀ uduro mura no anonya na asora yari amami wa we ebode uda ihe ofian utome ona te so mi piya gboso won wo owo kigbesi ya gboso no emanibu yan wa pa ma ka wo yan gbele yan o but ni buwo yan fi obo yido o iya we no makeke eduna iye emino emihe na mi we ni wa egenede ka sunu yovia sunu yokwa eba sunu ye bonibu ti yara muwe na mi we omo ma roho wa gele ya ti ani yemi omo no we mi ni iye na fe wo waro wo ma ne do ma ri oko aya bi yen oni emani me àwòrán mẹ́yà ó dìyẹn gbèsò ọwọ́ kò náà ọwọ́ ọ̀fí owó ẹ̀yọ̀ ha ọwọ́ yẹn máa fi owó ẹ̀yọ̀ ha ẹ̀wọ̀ ẹ̀dọ̀ fi yẹn ẹ̀sọ́ owó ẹ̀yẹn gẹ́lẹ́ fi owó ẹ̀yọ̀ ha àwẹ̀dọ̀ wẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ rà mẹ́wẹ̀ èmi ni máa ọmọ àrùn wa fúndà ọ̀rìn nùbẹ̀kì ládìá ilé náà yà wà àánú yà kó wẹ̀ ọ̀rẹ́ àwà àhó ni ọ̀rọ̀ àwà ìyẹn náà ni wọ́n ẹ̀ mi o we o se e we to bu ona wo ko afian ona fi we oro ona fi an to me negi an ba me dagbe ya iyen ma na sikegbe mi na sikegbe so pa wo bo we ni kata si iyen odo le mi yi eje mi ria eje bo ria we ewe ona no we na le mi no wa dun ai we so we genede de koko wo wa ru èmi no ria oke polo o teka o wa aziba uwa de koko ude kwa uteka awa no iye so we ro awe ru e ba fa o me no sie ne dade wo we na ma me e mama ni o me no sie na na mi we iya iru e ilele na te lo uhi awa ihe e lohi thou shall not kill thou shall not steal yera ye gbodo yi okay bible ni we tell the why ihe no udadu hi ne dado lele bewo ke na lele court ke na lele wowa ke na lele awerima ke na ege baba ho emi nu na ema una we wọ́n ní ugbómi náà gbẹ̀yọ ọ̀rọ̀ so pọ́n rí yẹn ugbu emi àmì ẹ̀yìn ẹ̀yìn ni mo sọ́bọ̀ náà mi máa fà náà mi èmọ̀ ni máa bí ẹ̀yà fà wò tẹ́ àwà kìí yẹn ọ̀tọ́ ẹ̀ pàṣọ.
dọ́mọ̀ ọ̀nàná ẹ̀bọ̀n nínú ìwé ẹ̀dùn wà mí na ya nà nà ẹ̀dẹ́ sínú káyẹ̀mẹ̀ ìyẹn ìyẹn mi nà wọ́n ká máa yẹn wíkí mi rà náà máa yẹn gbó zẹ́bù wà náà gbọ̀n bí ẹ̀dùn pàtàkì nìwẹ̀kí no yemi no me mo ave ko won we eni kemi na agbona na me ero wa we mi esi ero wa we da ero emi yen na esoro na tie o sanowo do ajagmo ona je yunwe erun ohun afian gbe ona be je yunwe iyen nuwe kemi yime ko yime nugu yin okeke ole lomani uga nyise afiangbe buwede wa be nyonge dan una te iyeni obi bo mande usalo ba tai ebi no wa wi eje yoto aro kebuwu ogwe zokpa yemeji yoto afiangbe kebiye we zokpa nunda emi no ma ko oro iye soro na tie no ma wa esoro na ya bo agbon to agbon oro ugawe uyegbe vio eso yiye ya buebo beneri mata eba aimogo wegbo aiwogo beze aiwogo gaba bi yeso iye no ebe soro na mego akwon mi awona ya gwa luto e ara iwe na weto we mi ye ugbeso ko fi owe yiwa awe owe mi ye ibi ekwon mi a odo ekwon mi nda oleba ene odo wo yawe ma wa na ni iye olawa ni ado awon mi wewewe amai weri omo wa de fe dokma emi wa sunu emi yon lawa atae yo to ni aya rile owani aya rile eboni aya rile won tagbon lenu salo ba rile won tagbon na orile sonya unye ugawu bene ni mata bible no wa be oya yebota thou shall not ugawu iye le lo mani wa be we ni esi afiangbe le lo e be soro na osalo ba wa afiangbe mu de ni esi ni ewu yen ga mi mi ko no ro emi o ko emi yin e ma afiangbe be kin da do bonu ri fi emi ge orewe iye na ya hwe iye nu we zese yi aya ebu edowe iwe re gbe ta iye nu zese yi iye nu we ya hwe kwa aya ebu edowe oyo mana oyo we na re o ma no re gbe dia oji no igbe dia awe na ede kotuwe wa ire se ba ave bu edebe yo we edowe na ave mu ezo na be gbe ori mari e ma we ta fan for ye ri gbe dia ni ologo ma ni ye lele kian ede na iwa wewe aze yoyoyo ejoji kai we ofo wa ya gbe wa ede re agi mi won se na la ona zobo mi miye nunda okeke oho e ma
wesi eni wa na zobo bi koko ko ma edoro pewo wa mi eni ni buro ni hen si yebo ologo wa ni hen si yebo obo sense wa ki ma so bowo na mi we ihe osaba no eje mu eworia awano rebo uhinaji ya se gbabe abe politician ni se boyo oteso gebo iya ori we ni ihe se eminu we inu awuna won le lo je nu na tala won mu we iye ke aya re ma we nu wa re ma osaba roju wa ya ma supa aiwe lo de mata o ligi no rona emi orun sin na ye na ne mana wala gbogbo le mana uwa mi ni ami ode not odo awa ari owebe awa fi o si afi oda e money re owebe ni die ni mi no kin awa fi han lawo ayi tede mi esowo awon na mu go da kire ihe we ni we to bo no wo ni ibi weru ni so ihe ewe waru ni no ri o si lade we na mu nwe igo na ahayo we no wani mara me no ru e wa ge ihe ni eni ya ke ni wa e bo na wa la wo abe o te se ge waru so no i khose na wari no wari he we no waru no man na ne no
when I saw John Ebo yo go John Vio boy o ven o keke are mu na be o ya mu na wa so a ori
ni anyway aka ge we se
do no pe na la wona ye we na we mi we na teme ma no ma mi ori o ebuku na la wo re iyen ma be gbe o se mi ame osuwu osu ipapa osi Ọlọ́run wa yo wa na la na yo bi ma si emi ni bi ibi o ha dori oja ebo keke oba atope
ise atame
ihe mi no ma ye gbe de gbe owe ununaya ti he reye ununaya ti mi ame ete ununa ti yari ba e hu do ni ikepu na yiri opa yin oku wa gi ma le ni he hu da were igban re bo ki le gbe wi owo no re gbe mi ni ne o ga we o ga ko kieke o se ti yari e be de na akwe afi were no ro yari pa egua de ma gbe igetoku itwe wa ya ni be na mi ho na itwe awe eboni re ikabetu itwe ma ni re igosa o atope
me anyone me twe aboya fe keniri ye kovia keniri yo kori on wo de ke ya fe o saro ba wo no mu here no dade bo ya fe oba atope
ITV, certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking about what I said. So when they bullied her, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They
smart.
can't sit
If
down.
you see when they are dressing them or dragging on both sides, you cannot. You cannot breathe. And these women would stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.